Sleeping Beauty. My nurse told me when I lived in Virginia. Once upon a time, with the king and queen, they had a princess born to them. They invited 5 fairies to come and feast with them. After they'd gotten through eating, well, they went into where the princess lay, and every one of them wished that she would have good luck when she grew up. And before the last one came to make her wish, well, an old fairy that hadn't been invited came in the window and said, "So you thought you wouldn't invite me? Well, I'm here. I want to make a wish." And she bowed down over the crib where the princess lay and said, "When you're 18 years old, you shall prick your finger on a spindle and shall die." And the 5th fairy stood up and said, "I can't change that wish much, but she won't die. She'll just fall into a sleep of 100 years. The king and queen started crying because they thought this was much too long for their princess to sleep. So one day, when the princess was 18 years old, well, she thought that she would go through every room in the palace. Finally, she got up to the top one, and she saw a woman spinning. She said, "What are you doing?" She said, "Spinning." She said, "May I try?" This woman got up, and she sat down. And no sooner had she started than she pricked her finger on the spindle and fell over in sleep. And the king and the queen fell asleep, and all the guards and the dogs. And a long time after that, well, a prince was coming through the forest hunting for shelter, and he just barely could see the castle because the weeds had grown up around it and the brushes. And he cut his way through, and he came to the door, and he asked the guard if he could stay here, and they didn't say anything. And he shook the guards, and they still wouldn't wake up. He hollered, and he didn't hear anything but his echo coming back. He went on through and wandered through the castle, and he saw the king and queen asleep, and he went on up and saw the princess lying on the floor, and she looked so sweet that he couldn't help but kiss her, and he stooped over and kissed her, and she woke up, and the king and queen woke up, and the king finished writing his letters, and the queen finished her breakfast. And the mice scuttled out of the holes, and the dogs and the watchmen woke up and started talking, and the king and the queen gave this prince permission to marry the princess, and the wedding was held that night, and they lived happy ever after.